May I play for food? The small voice cut through the ballroom like glass shattering. Everyone turned. The chatter, the clinking glasses, a laughter, it all stopped. A 12-year-old girl stood at the entrance of the Grand Continental Hotel, clutching an old backpack to her chest. Her clothes were too big, her eyes too bright, and she looked straight at the Steinway grand piano under the chandeliers. This was a charity gala, raising money for underprivileged kids, but the irony was bitter, because Amelia Washington wasn't just underprivileged, she was homeless. She had been sleeping in shelters, but tonight something had pulled her inside. "Where's security?" whispered a woman, wrinkling her nose. But Amelia didn't back down. "Just one song?" she said softly. "One song for a plate of food?" The crowd laughed. A man scoffed, "She probably doesn't even know where Middle C is." Another added, "These kids see a movie and think they can do anything." But Amelia stayed calm, her small fingers twitching as if playing invisible keys. Then the hostess, Victoria Sterling, stepped forward. She was wealthy, elegant, and cruel behind her perfect smile. "Darling," she said, "this is no place for you. There's a McDonald's 2 blocks away." But Amelia only repeated, "I just want to play." That's when Dr. Robert Chun, one of the most respected pianists in the country, spoke up from the back. "Victoria, why not let her try? We're here to help young talent, aren't we?" Victoria smirked. "Fine. If she insists, she can play, but on my terms. One piece, our choice. If she plays it well, I'll buy her dinner. If she fails, she leaves and never comes back." The crowd leaned in eagerly. A smug pianist nearby suggested, "For release." People chuckled, thinking it a beginner's trap. If she tried and failed, it would be humiliating. Amelia nodded and walked toward the piano. Each step was steady, full of quiet dignity that unsettled some guests. She sat, adjusted the bench with practiced ease, and placed her hands above the keys like someone who had done it 1,000 times. Victoria sneered, "She's pretending. She's never touched a piano in her life." But Dr. Chun felt a chill. He recognized real training. Amelia took a breath and began to play. The first note rang out pure and confident. The room froze. This was no child fumbling at keys. This was mastery. Each note of Für Elise flowed like a story, tender and alive. Her grandmother, Betty Washington, had taught her everything before she passed away. Betty was a gifted pianist who had been denied her chance because of the color of her skin. But she poured her knowledge into Amelia, and now those lessons returned like fire through the girl's hands. The crowd watched in silence as arpeggios poured like water, as dynamics rose and fell like waves. Waiters froze mid-step, glasses hovered in midair, and all that existed was the music. When the final note lingered and Amelia lifted her hands, the room stayed silent, stunned. Then Dr. Robert Chun, one of the most respected pianists in the country, spoke up from the back. "All supporting." And that's where the story ends for tonight. A hungry little girl walked into a room full of privilege, and with nothing but her music, she turned judgment into silence and silence into respect. If you felt chills listening to Amelia's story, hit that like button and subscribe, because there are more powerful stories like this one waiting to be told.